afternoon and thanks for joining us. I'm Judy Simpson. With winter's blanket now covering the ground, we thought you might enjoy a break from the snow and the cold. So today we found a warm weather topic. We're going to take a look at some of the top Vermont landscapes and landscaping ideas. As we're about to see, landscaping is much more than mowing grass and edging the walkways. It involves many high-skilled professionals right here in Vermont. Joining me is the state's leading horticulture educator, Leonard Perry of UVM Extension. And Leonard, you've brought along a friend.
I have. Speaking of a great professional and a friend, Ed Burke, from who wears many hats, owner of Rocky Dale Gardens in Bristol, but also on the board of the Greenworks Vermont Nursery and Landscape Association, which sponsors, thanks to Ed, who coordinates this program, a landscape awards program each year, and this is the 6th year. And we'll take a look at some great photos of some beautiful landscapes by these professionals. And I think one of the things to keep in mind while we're looking at those is that even though a lot of these are fairly large, you can always get some ideas to take home, even if it's a single plant or a plant combination.
Well, Ed, tell us a little bit about the design contest.
Well, this is our 6th year, and we hold the contest in order to highlight some of the work of our membership, those professionals who are very talented and do quality installations. It's our chance to showcase them.
And so there's a committee that judges the winners?
Yeah, our committee is made up of 5 to 7 judges, and they are professionals in the landscape architecture and landscape design, horticulture, and academic.
Well, let's take a look at some of the winners. Who are we going to take a look at first?
Okay, well, let's take a look. We have several categories, residential and commercial, and design, which is just they enter for just designs, as we see here, or build just a certain part of building that landscape. And this was there are 3 levels of awards. And this one, the Honor Award, and there were 10 award winners this year. We'll see the small scale, we have large scale too, residential and design. And there's this before picture. We'll start with the before picture, and then distinctive landscaping was the one that came up with this idea.
Yeah, and that's a great use of dwarf Korean lilac. It's in a serpentine hedge, and it's there to separate the home from the road.
And then if we take a little closer look, I just love this bed. And the theme here is called the Artful Makeover. They have art around the landscape. And I love just kind of the blue theme in the bed under the tree there.
Yeah, and I think that's woodland phlox underneath a crabapple. And in the background is winter rye that has been let grow to full size. Nice effect.
It's very natural looking.
And they started putting that in, the note said, just for like a ground cover, and they liked the look so much they've kept it as a landscape element.
Yeah.
Nice.
So then we'll take a look at the next one, one of the 3 winners. This is the small scale again in a design in the residential, an honor award from Old World Garden Design. That's the before, but amazing. Look at that after.
Yeah, and that's a great use of a small space, both functional and beautiful to look at. They have a water feature. They have a little stone spiral at the end of that wall, a seating wall, and this is adjacent to an inside room with glass doors.
So basically what they want to do is sort of extend their living space outside.
Yeah, and as you can see from up above, you know, they've actually squeezed quite a lot into a really small space.
And they really enjoyed all the variety of plant materials. They said it really increases the birds they can watch. And I thought on the right there, that's a little stone spiral bed, an herb spiral. They have herbs planted there.
What
so
a
I
good
thought that was
idea.
showed that to my wife. She said, I want one of those now. So.
Yeah, great example of an outdoor room.
And then finally, in the small scale residential design honor award from Churchill Landscapes, the before, and this was about terraces.
Wow.
Yeah, and talk about creating useful space out of a space that wasn't so useful before. They created 2 terraces in this slope, and they did such a great job. It looks like it was always there.
Yeah, I mean, they went from basically no yard to work with to now 2 really good spaces.
And I love the way they put those herbs and plants in amongst the stones.
Yeah,
and
the creeping thyme in the stones, and they used a lot of native stone in that project.
Now this was one of the builds, so it's about building something, and how they entered this and won an honor award, and this I believe was in southern Vermont, small scale, but you can see before, not much there. This is amazing.
Oh my.
Yeah, they brought in 2 very large maples and they installed them with a crane, and you can see in that photograph a little bit of the infinity pool.
And then this one shows that pool, which I
wow.
wasn't aware of before what that was, but I guess
Yeah, I didn't
it's
even notice it.
a pool that kind of looks like it just goes off into infinity. It's kind of on the edge, and I guess the
Yeah.
water drips down the side. And I understand they're really a lot of fun to go into.
Yeah, a very subtle but beautiful project. Looks again like it was always there.
Yeah, that's amazing. Of course, the larger scale trees help because you don't have to wait 20 years
That's
to get
right.
that
And I think
effect.
they,
That's
too,
right.
you know, take advantage of that beautiful view in the landscape, which is something we can all do when we're thinking about a landscape. And this is Churchill Landscapes did this one in Burlington Driveway, and Merit Award, and it's kind of the other end of the extreme, where they had the big one. This is a small scale, just a driveway. There's some schizocarium, I love to say that, little blue stem along
Yeah.
there.
This is a wonderful example of making a porous driveway instead of your standard concrete driveway, which doesn't, which rainwater does not seep through, which it runs
Right.
off. And they used repurposed granite curbs in that
Oh, no
driveway. So a very difficult project, lots of different hardscaping material, but a great example of a new idea for a urban driveway.
Great.
So those were the residential and the small scale.
So obviously lots of different treatments for backyards, and then as you saw for the driveway as well. Now what do you have for winners of the full property large scale landscapes?
Okay, yeah, these are full properties, not just pieces of, and we have two winners for that. Starting with this one, again, a before picture, honor award from Distinctive Landscaping. So you can see him working on that, and then same view
Oh
afterwards.
my goodness.
Yes, and this plan calls for a lot of monochromatic planting. So that is Hacknacloa that is planted in mass, and maybe more to look at plants as a palette. And so this is very, very linear design.
Yeah, the Japanese forest grass, a beautiful one for part shade as it is under the tree there. Again, the taller grasses on the left, just kind of looking back, you see a patio they put in. Then another before picture off to the side there, just kind of a grassy area, but then it's amazing afterwards.
Wow.
Yeah, beautiful, simple, elegant design, very easy on the eyes.
Straight edges there, the pool on the right. And then this one won the top award, Excellence, a large-scale full property residential design. This is a stove property from Broadleaf Landscape Architecture. Before, we see the pond there, and then afterwards.
Oh my.
Yeah, great use, again, of plants in mass. Again, they have a large property where they're able to put hundreds of the same species up against hundreds of another.
Then around the back of the house, you can see a slope there, kind of, under construction.
Wow.
Then afterwards.
What a huge difference that makes.
Yeah, beautiful patio, hot tub view there. And it's interesting, just again, you don't have to go to that extreme. You can just, to make a slope, here's an example, just, making some terraces, mass plantings to create an effect, as they did there, taking advantage of that big rock there.
Boy,
Don't
let's
have
do
to
that in
move
my
it.
front yard. That'd be great.
So, yeah, you got rocks in Vermont.
Nice.
I've got rocks.
Nice alternative to lawn.
Yeah.
That's on a rooftop. That's a green roof.
Oh, really?
Featuring calamagrostis and coneflower, featherweed grass.
This was interesting, another pond, but they kind of really took advantage of, it's on the slopes, you get a lot of water runoff, but using that and channeling that, and so it doesn't, cause problems in capturing that.
It's a nice pond with a beautiful little walkway.
Yeah. And then another large-scale residential, this was built, quite a large building project, entered for that, the honor award, Stefano Landscaping before.
Oh my.
They can see after the pool. And
It's dramatic.
A lot of hardscaping in this project: fire pit, seating walls, pool, retaining walls, walkways.
again, taking advantage of the view. Here's a good retaining wall that was all built.
Very
Oh, that's
nice
beautiful.
radius kept in that wall.
Yeah, that's really something.
And that's and then the front, entryway with, very simple planting and in the front there, but
Amazing.
And then we had the commercial build, and this was the second one that won the top award, the Excellence Award. Again, the Stefano Landscaping. This was over at Top Notch Resort, I guess.
Yep, Top Notch up in
And you saw the before and then afterwards here, just totally using some nice stone there. I saw a nice color
Yeah, it's very
palette.
pretty.
And nice caps on that. So that's the kind of thing with a build project the judges would look for is you know, the construction kind of details. And you can see a different view of it there along the back, around the restaurant area.
Truly amazing.
Then another one, again, you know, this was all what they created, designed and created, built. These steps and the walls, and I particularly like the use, again, some grasses there.
Yeah.
Kind of for the fine texture in the back, and then the less hardy in the container, the pennisetum grass, upright purpley fountain grass. And then one I like underneath that, I've used this year a lot, is the Silver Falls dichondra, which just is a great silvery plant that just hangs over. I put it in pots, have it hanging over.
It's a nice
that's just
effect.
a great one people should look for
Yeah,
the
see
coming
that,
year.
that little idea right there is something that you can take away. And so I guess special projects is next, and what makes these so special?
Generally, special projects are installations that don't fit into any kind of category. Usually it can be moving large trees, it can be irrigation. In this case, it was a swimming pond. And you know, this was submitted by Caroline Dudak of Landshapes, and they did an amazing job installing a swimming pond.
And again, the word is pond. We've seen
What
some
are some of the
pools.
things that go into a pond? I mean, obviously rocks, and there's some landscaping material.
Well, as we'll see, there's a lot of filtrating plants and different levels that filtrate the pond. So it's a natural ecosystem that you create.
As you see there, rather than just a concrete basin or some sort of basin, they've actually tailored the landscape, made the different levels, lined it with a lining for heavyweight material, put the rocks in, and then, as we'll see here, the final product looks like a natural pond.
That's
and it was
beautiful.
all created from just that open land and digging that hole. And as you see in the foreground there, they have this little waterfall going down too, and a patio on the right.
That is beautiful.
Yeah, it takes a lot of vision and a lot of work to create something that looks as natural as that. And I think they did a wonderful job by interplanting with a lot of native plants and a lot of plants that are used for that filtration purpose in the bog section.
Nice.
Again, I think there was probably a fire pit, it looks like there. Place to sit, look at the pond. I don't know if I'd want to dive into that pond with all those rocks off the side, but for swimming and
Maybe wade in.
Yeah.
as Ed
Just
mentioned, I
float
think
around. It'd be
Yeah.
nice.
the whole
Yeah.
idea, noticed in the write-up they provided, was here are these plants that they mentioned to use rather than use chemicals like you do in a
Right.
pool.
Right.
They use these natural plant filtration as well as running it through UV, I believe. But just through those means to really have a lessened environmental impact, and some beautiful plantings here, which I always find amazing in a year, putting these plants in, how they grow and fill in, and it just looks so, and like that, just looks natural, like it's been there and it was just created from scratch.
And we saw a lot of hardscapes, and there were a lot of water elements too. Are these really popular sort of trends that you're seeing?
Well, I think you may have noticed that a lot of the landscapes are outdoor rooms, that people are enhancing their outdoor spaces. We have a short season in Vermont that you can be outside and enjoy these things. So they're as beautiful to gaze upon as they are to actually use. So that is a trend, this outdoor living, creating spaces that you can use like you would use the inside of your home.
Now-
I think you mentioned the pools and ponds. It's not so much a trend for those, but I think it's just using the spaces is really popular, well, nationwide, really.
Now, we've got about a minute left. Ed, tell us a little bit about your contest and your association.
Greenworks is the member organization for professional horticulturalists, designers, and installers concerning landscapes in Vermont. This is our 50th year. We put on the Vermont Flower Show, and the contest is something that's been running for 6 years. As I said, we try to highlight the talent and the professionalism of our members, and we like to sort of share that with the public and try to get people to understand what it takes to design and install a professional landscape.
Well, thank you for bringing the photos in. They're
Yeah,
beautiful.
you're
It's a lot of
welcome.
fun to look at. Thanks to both of you. That's our program for today. Thanks for joining us. I'm Judy Simpson. We'll see you again next time on Across the Fence.